into a brand new wave, drowning out the noise it's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn today. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're unpanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
Oh, welcome. Sorry, I was doing some mining. I am the legacy of Jennifer Kaiser. Welcome to Crypto Wednesday, as it ticks at the bottom. Legacy News, episode 64 already. Let's talk about Roger Ver. Blessed thou, Bitcoin Jesus, for you have given us everything in the world of crypto. How are we doing
Of
today,
course.
Andrew Joseph?
Not bad. Here to talk about how they're trying to crucify Crypto Jesus.
They've been trying to crucify. Yeah, they've been trying to crucify him for a long time.
I figured we could go through one of his classic debates and for Crypto Wednesday, and I give some context to people, see what they're going after.
They're going after truth, and as the real Jesus would say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And you can only get to God, but through me. So with that case, Bitcoin Jesus, as in Roger Ver, I'm gonna redo it. I am the way, the truth, and the enrichment of society through the decentralized means, in divorce of all governments, evil, satanic, and violent on this earth. For if you want to get to freedom, you must go through me.
Sounds about right.
That sounds about right. So the ATF is a despicable piece of satanic shit that kills children and laughs about it. And that's the reason why Roger Ver originally was canceled.
Talk about guts.
Talk about guts. The ATF is satanic, everybody. Let's get to this clip. I know he's itching for it.
all governments are corrupt, but yeah, let's get into the video.
All governments are satanic.
Ready?
These gentlemen need no introduction, I would imagine. If you don't know who they are, then who are you, basically? This apparently is round 3 between these two heavyweights, Fraser and Ali. The first one was in Mexico, right? The second one was on a crypto cruise or something like that. And apparently the moderator last time was Tone's girlfriend.
Oh, right.
Just to let you know, me and Roger do not have a relationship yet, but you know, I'm always open to offers. Okay, Bitcoin.
This is how rumors start.
Hands up who's got Bitcoin. Hands up who's got Bitcoin Cash. Whoa, level pegging.
My hand show probably went up on that first one.
Okay, how do we begin here? What do we start? Blocks. What about big blocks and small blocks? Does that make any sense?
So I'd like to explain exactly why I'm such a big fan of Bitcoin Cash. So yesterday I got to give a talk here, and on every single person's table out there, we had the private key on a golden ticket where you could scan it with any wallet that can import a private key and claim your Bitcoin Cash right from the wallet. We gave $5 to every single person that was in the room yesterday worth of Bitcoin Cash. And that was only possible because the fees were low. If we tried to do that exact same thing with the BTC version of Bitcoin today, it would be impossible, because to move the $5 from the private key on the piece of paper into your phone, it would cost $3. And then you would have $2 left on your phone. But to send the $2 from your phone to the next person, it would cost $3, which you wouldn't have. And so that's an example of how Bitcoin, the BTC version of Bitcoin's usefulness has been undermined in commerce, because the fees currently are about $3 per transaction on the BTC version of Bitcoin, whereas the fees are a fraction of a penny on the Bitcoin Cash version of Bitcoin. And that's why it seems so clear to me that anybody that's trying to actually use a version of Bitcoin for payments, Bitcoin Cash actually works as money. The BTC version no longer does. And I say that as the first person in the world. Thank you. I say that as the first person in the world to have started using Bitcoin in commerce for non-black market things.
Strong start.
So very simple rebuttal. So for the at least the last 9 months or more, I use Bitcoin pretty much every day. I have not paid more than $1 fee for a Bitcoin transaction over the last 9 months. So I have no idea where the $3 average is coming from.
That's a goddamn lie.
I have no idea where it's coming from, but I have not had to pay over $1 for a fee in about a year.
Pull out your wallet right now and send me some BTC, and let's see what the fee calculation is, and we'll find out right now.
So my wallets allow me to set any fee I like. I can send Roger right now $5 with a 5-cent fee, and it will go through.
With a 5-cent fee?
Sure.
Please do, and I'll post it all online later, and we can see they get stuck in the mempool for days or potentially weeks. It's not going through with a 5-cent fee.
Why is there such a difference in opinion here? Isn't it obvious which one's going to win out of you two?
I think the difference
we already know which one won. Roger hasn't.
So can I watch and see the fee? Can I look over your shoulder? Is that okay?
Sure. I will send you 5.
So he's sending me $5.
So I'll say it. On this particular wallet, the default fee is $1.33. The default fee. I go click a button that says change fee. It's set to standard. I can just click a button and set it to low. That drops my fee to 27 cents. That's the low version.
Still too high.
I can make it lower than that because I can choose my own fee. It depends how much time you want to spend, since we're limited on time. But right now I'm sending you, I'll just use the 27. I can lower it to 5 cents if you like.
Lower it to 5 cents, and we'll see how many days it's stuck in the mempool.
Set custom fee, Satoshis per byte, 5 Satoshis per byte. I'm not sure how many cents that will be. 7 cents.
Let's do it before the weekend.
7 cents. You okay with 7 cents?
Set it to 1 Satoshi per byte, like all Bitcoin Cash transactions are.
No one uses Bitcoin Cash. That's why it's so cheap to send it.
So that's an absolute lie, and anyone can go and see the number of transactions happening on the network.
Let's go ahead and lower it to 1 Satoshi per byte.
Mate, get on. We've only got a few minutes.
Lower it to 1 Satoshi per byte, and I'll bet
1 cent fee. There it goes.
What does it say? It says transaction success.
Well, it's sent.
Okay.
It needs to get confirmed.
So here you go, Tone. If that gets included in a block today, I'll donate $10,000 to the charity of your choice.
Monday CRM has the best AI features in the game,
especially in sales.
hands down.
So for me, email.
That's how confident I am that a 1 Satoshi per byte fee on the Bitcoin network, they no longer go through. And that's why I switched all of my time and effort and resources to promoting Bitcoin Cash, because it still works as peer-to-peer cash for the world. It's described in the very title of the white paper. It has a giant, passionate community of users all over the world that are busy and intent on building this peer-to-peer cash for the electronic, for the entire world, because that's the name of the game. Let's bring more economic freedom to the entire world by having peer-to-peer cash. If you just have some sort of store of value hodl thing, how does that help people in Africa? How does that help people all over the world? How does that help people in the first world even? We need to have something that works, and it needs to work for everyone, every time, every place, quickly, reliably, and cheaply. And the BTC version of Bitcoin no longer does. Bitcoin Cash does. And that's why in the long term, I'm confident that the market cap of Bitcoin Cash will surpass the BTC version of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin Cash offers fast, cheap, reliable transactions. The BTC version has slow, expensive, unreliable transactions. When you try and make a cheap transaction, you'll see it's going to be stuck in the mempool.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, normally, I still occasionally use on-chain for $5 transactions because I'm a little bit lazy, but I should really be using Lightning for those transactions because you can't send every single transaction on-chain. Bitcoin will never scale that way, and it just doesn't work. That's why we needed to get SegWit in there. The reason why fees got incredibly high and people were able to use the high fees at the time to promote other blockchains is because SegWit was adversarial. Nobody wanted to get it in. Since SegWit has been in, the fees have dropped substantially, but SegWit allows second layer scaling. All of these $5 transactions should really happen over the Lightning Network, which isn't fully in production yet, will be soon. It's significantly better than it was 6 months ago, and I've already started using it. Many people are. And give it another year, and every single transaction from $5 and under will be over Lightning. Eventually, all transactions under $100 will be on Lightning. Eventually, all transactions under $1,000 will be over Lightning. If you really need it on-chain, you will have to pay a higher fee, which I actually don't mind paying. I don't mind paying a 20-cent fee. I like supporting the miners, which are keeping our system secure.
So, Tone, what Lightning wallet are you using?
Eclair. I also have a Blue Wallet as well. New ones are coming out. I haven't tried Zap yet.
So if I want to set up a Lightning wallet on my phone, what should I do?
Just download Eclair.
And am I in
Pause
control of
this
my
real
own card
quick.
keys there?
On Eclair, yeah. Or you can also
Sure.
Bitcoin,
Actually,
yeah, Bitcoin won't scale that way, right? But Bitcoin does scale that way. It's called Bitcoin Cash.
if it's okay, real quick, I'm gonna present another tab. Just a minute.
I had to mention that when he said that. It's like,
If you can see, this video is from like 2017, 2018, right?
mm-hmm.
And time and again, Bitcoin Core has just spiked in price. This is the daily Bitcoin fee block reward ratio. Bitcoin Cash has been nothing. And hold on just a second. There's something else I want to pull up here. From Bitcoin.com. This is 2014. Bitcoin Lightning Network infrastructure provider Mass is shutting down its current version. And this is just the first result that I found on Google. But I know I shouldn't be using Google, but I had heard before that there were people that were doing Lightning Network there was infrastructure on the Lightning Network that was being shut down. So this is definitely, dated videos. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. It's called subversion.
Yeah.
Subverting economic freedom with hodling.
Yeah. People chase the money. They don't chase. They don't realize that the money is a byproduct of the technology.
Well, the issue, in my opinion, is people are chasing egalitarian principles of fallacy rather than utilitarian principles of truth.
I mean, that's the whole point, is to use it right.
hmm So basically, when we're talking about, and we'll jump back into it after this, but you're effectively seeing Bitcoin since 2017, the inception of Bitcoin Cash, the fork, Bitcoin's aversion into the small block regime of basically fuckery. It's hijacking. It is a civil war between egalitarian and utilitarian principles when it
And
comes to
there,
transaction.
another way to a lens to look at it is there are two different camps in the crypto scene. It's Keynesian economics camp, neo-Keynesian economics camp, which is the Bitcoin maxis, and then you have the Austrian camp, which is more in line with the Moneros and the Bitcoin Cashes of the world.
But you also have a civil war within that, a subset civil war within the Austrian camp, in my opinion, when it comes to Rothbardian and Hayekian ideology.
Yeah.
Because I think Bitcoin Cash, for the most part, and I think Monero, you're starting to see a little bit more large on the larger front of Rothbardian thinking as well. But Bitcoin Cash is more of that Rothbardian seeking of utilitarian concepts, and Bitcoin is the egalitarian the balance between egalitarian and utilitarian cycles with Hayek. Hayek was a blend. Hayek was a compromiser. So,
like a segregated witness.
mm-hmm. So it's a battle that's going to continue to be on the forefront.
Yeah.
Small block versus big block, everybody. Learn the difference.
Well, it's important that actually that these exist. It's because these are ideas that are frameworks for economic models that need to actually have real world utilization, and that's what the crypto provides. It's basically I want to say guilt free, shame free, but if it actually works in the market, it's going to work in real life, and these ideas are motivating people to actually pressure test and see how successful they can be in real life. So,
and that's the thing. The market is real life. We just have to open our eyes to it. So, but let us jump back into it.
Okay.
Route it through your own node. You should have a node.
So what
if
tones?
you really want to make it safe, you want to have.
Okay.
You can go through the.
So if I want to make it
node.
safe and be in charge of my own money completely, like I can with an ESPV wallet on Bitcoin Cash, what would I need to do?
Well, wait a minute. You're only gonna have limited amount of money on that Lightning node. You're gonna have what? $20, $30, $40, $50, $100, whatever you fund that Lightning with. You should still keep your Bitcoin on a hardware wallet.
So with Bitcoin Cash, anyone can set up a wallet. It'll literally take longer to download the wallet app than it does to start using it, and you are in 100% complete control of your own money, and there's nothing that anybody can do to stop it. With a Lightning wallet, how many hours or days is it going to take you to get everything set up to be in 100% complete control of your own money, Tone?
Of your own money?
Yes,
but
your own
you
money.
shouldn't have everything on the Lightning Network. It's a second layer scaling solution.
So if
you should still keep your Bitcoin either in your own node or on chain.
So you're not answering my question. My question is, if I want to be in 100% complete control of my own money with a Lightning wallet, how long is it going to take me?
You shouldn't do that. Like it
What
doesn't
should I
matter
do,
how long it
Tom?
is.
What should I do if I want to be in charge of my own money and use Lightning wallet? What should I do?
You can set it up. It'll take you a little bit of time.
A little bit means how long?
I don't know. I haven't set it up that way yet.
So,
Because
so wait a minute. When you're using Lightning Wallet, you're not in control of your own funds. You're trusting somebody else.
yeah, I'm okay trusting somebody else with $20, $30 of my funds. I don't really have a big problem with that.
And how often do you top back up your $20 or $30 in your Lightning Wallet?
I don't. It's $20 or $30.
So you never spend the $20 or $30?
No,
that's
I
in
do.
your
I
Lightning
don't
Wallet?
back it up. I don't write down the private key and hide it and put it in a safe deposit box. But
So
$30.
you don't make backups of your private keys. You don't top up your Lightning wallets. You don't even use the money in the Lightning Wallet. Is that what you're saying?
No, I use it, but I don't.
So when you use it and you no longer have money in the Lightning Wallet, what do you do to put more money in the Lightning Wallet?
Just
You're tw-
transfer more Bitcoin in from a more secure wallet.
And about $20 or $30 at a time?
Yeah.
And what is the fee to transfer that $20 or $30 additional money into your Lightning Wallet?
1 cent, like I just sent you.
So actually, I have news about that. I was checking my wallet here, and it looks like because the fee was so low, it looks like the network didn't even detect the transaction, and it's not. Looks like it didn't even get relayed by the node, so it hasn't even arrived in my wallet yet. So
I've just got a message here. It says,
Whoa. No, I see the transaction. I see
can
the
we take a look
transaction.
together? I don't have the transaction ID, so.
Yep. No,
What does
no,
it say?
It says unconfirmed, but
Yep.
that is your transaction.
And so it says priority 23,836 out of 24,355 transactions. So that
Okay.
means that if every single transaction on the Bitcoin network were to completely stop right now, and every single block is only clearing the backlog of transactions on the Bitcoin network right now, it's going to take about 10 blocks, so about an hour and a half before his transaction gets included in a block. If every single
Don't I have
other
a
Bitcoin
day to make
transaction
10,000?
stops.
Don't I have a day to get the $10,000?
You do, and it's not going to make it because the network, people are making transactions every single time. So if the entire
Right,
network,
people are using the network. You should not be paying 1 cent fee when so many people are using the network.
or you could just switch to Bitcoin Cash and pay 1/10 of a penny per
But no
transaction.
one uses it. Who am I
And-
going to send it to?
Pull out your wallet right now.
Oh, I don't have a Bitcoin Cash wallet. I'm a Bitcoiner.
I guess he likes wasting his money. So
is there anything you two agree on? Do you agree on anything?
I don't know. How many altcoins do you like, Roger? Because I don't like them all. What do we agree on? Well, your debate with Nouriel Roubini, who doesn't like any coins, would have been. I would have had to take your side on that one. There's other problems with the way Bitcoin Cash was scaling. Is that we don't have infinite free storage. As blocks get bigger, I actually wouldn't be surprised once everyone is using Lightning for all of these little transactions, that the block size would actually get lowered below 1 megabyte. Luc Dashjur really wants it to be 256 kilobytes now, and there's a reason for that. And the biggest reason is the bigger the cumulative size of the blockchain, the more discouraged you are from running a node. And the less nodes we have around the world, the more centralized this decentralized system becomes. And then I may not even trust it anymore to be decentralized, censorship-resistant money.
when was the last time you made a purchase with your Lightning Network wallet?
I use on-chain. I don't have a problem paying 20-cent fees, and they're all going through. I'm one of the bad guys right now on Bitcoin, spamming the Bitcoin blockchain because I barely use Lightning.
So do you use Lightning wallets to pay for things or not?
No, I still use on-chain. I pay a 20-cent fee. I don't have a problem with it because I don't buy things that are that cheap.
So just to clarify,
my Bitcoin transactions are usually $20 and up, and I don't have a problem paying a 20-cent fee.
So to clarify, so you're busy advocating all day, every day that everybody use something that you don't even use yourself?
I don't need to. I'm happy paying a 20-cent fee. If I really need to start sending $1 transactions and I'm too cheap and I want to pay a 1-cent fee, I will absolutely use my Lightning wallet. I'm okay using the on-chain right now. It's not that clutter for me, and I don't buy little things. But if I was, the store on tonebase.com accepts Lightning transactions. But
How often or how many times per day do you get payments via Lightning for your stuff?
I don't
on your store?
manage that part of my website. I'll have to find out.
You're on the ropes a bit here, mate, I think. He was clever in getting the microphone, so he looks like he's bossing it. We haven't got long. We're going to do it.
But that's the thing. The fact that I don't even use the Lightning Network yet tells you
That's a
that it's
quote.
not absolutely necessary. On-chain Bitcoin still works just fine, but when it gets really congested and I really want to pay cheap fees, of course I'll switch to Lightning.
So I have, I guess, one final question maybe. So in our first debate 3 years ago, and I quote, Tone Vase said, SegWit solves all of Bitcoin scaling problems immediately. Do you still agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the transactions became pretty cheap within a few
$3
months.
per transaction at the moment, and it was
Absolutely not.
The average transaction was $50 at the end of 2017, and I myself personally was paying thousands of dollars in fees for single Bitcoin transactions.
Well, that's because your business revolved around micropayments.
No,
which,
I was moving tens of thousands of dollars around at a time, and I was paying around $1,000 to $1,500 in fees per transaction to move those BTC around.
Fees have been under one. Every transaction I've sent has been pretty much under $1.50 for the last 9 months. They all went through fairly quickly, and I could have done it lower.
There's no money in my wallet. It doesn't look like it even got broadcasted to the network.
Oh, come on. Yes, it did. Are you
listen,
sure you didn't give me a Bitcoin Cash wallet?
I'm sure I used a BTC
For me to
address.
scan?
Please text me the address and we'll keep an eye on it.
Clever move in the microphone, by the way. Okay, so we're going to have, you've got to shout for which one you liked, right? So there you go. So there's always one.
Who likes fast, cheap, reliable transactions? Whatever the coin is, anything that works
guys,
is what I'm advocating.
If Bitcoin Cash had as many transactions as Bitcoin does right now, their fees would actually be bigger. There was a report about 9 months ago where someone went and took a look at the Bitcoin Cash current fee and compared it to when Bitcoin had that kind of action, which was like back in 2011. This is the equivalent. The amount of fees going on Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin had that kind of action back in 2011, and those fees were lower than Bitcoin Cash fees are.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
And also, there was like one wallet that was sending like 80% or 60% of all of Bitcoin Cash transactions. Whose wallet was that, Roger?
Okay, stop it now. Let's have a round of applause for Tone. Round of applause for Roger. I'll just call it a draw. Thank you, gentlemen. Round of applause for these two nutters.
It seems that when we look at what's going on with Roger in today's day and in the age of our fucked up world, he speaks the truth. And he cares about human beings. And he wants all of us to go ahead.
I pulled some more information up based off of this interview or this debate or whatever you want to call it. Just debate, conversation. And he's talking about the scaling, right? Just a second. 3 years ago, read.cash, how my Raspberry Pi i4 handles mining 1 gigabyte blocks. He's got a whole article about it and how he did it. And just how absolutely out of touch these people are with it, the fact that they said, oh, it's centralized. They can't. If a Raspberry Pi can mine, 1 gigabyte blocks for Bitcoin Cash, then we're just touching the very basic stuff, because a Raspberry Pi is like very bare minimum hardware when it comes to computing.
Yep. Very, very much. And see how much technology has advanced in both the code and just the technology, the hardware technology in today's day and age. I mean, you're thinking of a Raspberry Pi, and then now think that this isn't my wallet. This is just a regular USB. But now think of a USB and what you could use with that.
They've got processors on USBs. It's a very small processor. There's no processors.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. The processor to this thing, very tiny, but can just do so much more and can compute so much more as we advance. It's getting even tinier and tinier as we advance into our modern age. So, I mean, just think, just
And
think what we can do. I mean, if
and
everybody had a tiny little processor, a tiny little Raspberry Pi.
another thing to think about is processors, right? They're doing basically they're scaling them into like a 3D, kind of like 3D NAND and stuff like that, and they're layering them and attaching them side by side and expanding their capabilities. So if they can't, keep processor by expanding it outward, they can stack them, like I was saying, and so that just gives it more oomph for when they're trying to. If you was to not say it's wise to try to use a USB stick for processing a Bitcoin transaction, you're not really going to get very far, but the technology still is ever evolving. And another thing I want to throw
Let's
up
put
here.
it this way. While you're looking for that, let's put it like this. All right. I'm wearing my Grassman tie-dye. All right. See that there's two
Yeah.
Bigfoots. You have two Bigfoots in your soul. Inside of you is two Bigfoots. With that, one Bigfoot is a retarded hodler, and the other the other Bigfoot is somebody who wants economic freedom. Which one are you going to choose?
Obviously, the one who wants economic freedom. Speaking of, this is a graph of all the daily Bitcoin transactions by network. We're going to take out Bitcoin Satoshi Vision because that's not the focus of the video we just watched, even though it is.
Well, hold up.
technically-
Go back on that transaction. Look at 2025.
Yeah, that's a lot of transactions. 76.55 million.
And we're talking about fees at this point, right? And how long?
No, just activity
No, no,
used on the network.
No, that's the activities, but that coincides with why fees are so high and the drawback of how long the transaction is going to take. Because Roger brings up the point. Look at how many transactions right there on that chart just recently. How do you expect to actually be able to utilize Bitcoin as a utility force if there's that many transactions? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like I was saying, we're not focused on Bitcoin Satoshi Vision in this video. So, but yes, Bitcoin Core has a majority of the transaction history, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be permanent. They Bitcoin Cash spiked here in 2021, very briefly, and the more inefficient Bitcoin Core becomes, the more likely it is that other transactions are going to be made on different blockchains.
And let's put it like this. If you really want to look at it matched up to the dollar, right? As an asset, Bitcoin, though very low, is hovering within that 300. I think the last time I looked, it was like around like the 360 mark. I could be wrong, but it's hovering. It's been hovering between $300 and $400 since that 2021 spike. Bitcoin Cash, that is. Yes, Bitcoin. Congratulations, Bitcoin Core. You've made it to 100,000, but you're volatile, and we'll see what happens and where your drop off is going to be when compared to that as an asset backed in dollars. Fuck the dollar. But Bitcoin Cash holds strong, literally in between that $300 and $400 margin, whereas Bitcoin Core, its volatility. I mean, you saw that when it first hit 100,000, it immediately dropped about $6,000-$7,000. It crashed. It didn't It wasn't a significant crash, and it did rebuild, but the volatility within the processing of Bitcoin Core, when matched up to its price in dollars, I mean, it's plain as day. So it's almost as if it's backed up to to de-incentivize you into actually gravitating towards a utilitarian idea of escaping the system, whereas Bitcoin Cash is kind of solidified in that utilitarian ideology, that concept that we're here to be peer-to-peer transaction, voluntary in measures of having the utility base in a concept of using an exchange ratio. Like all you have to do is use it. Doesn't have
Yeah.
to, it doesn't matter if it's worth $300 or $400 a coin on the market index when backed up as a quote unquote asset exchange or commodity to the dollar. It's the fact that it's holding strong in that concept and just waiting for the day that people will finally get their heads out of their asses and see that, oh, well, perhaps this crypto market, there are assets that you can utilize to transact and exchange through a monetary means in absence of the dollar. Scary talk. That's
It
scary.
is. But they only act when they're absolutely necessary for them to do so.
So yeah, and this is where the crucifixion of the persecution and the inevitable crucifixion, hopefully that doesn't come to that, but this is the crucifixion of Bitcoin Jesus. They're trying to bring him down because he speaks the truth on the necessity of what the crypto community needs and the utility for you to take back your economic freedom away from fiat systems that are centralized and controlled, technocratic expansion, surveillance, massive surveillance, and the tracking you and everything that you do and everything that you buy. I mean, this is why they're coming after him. This is why they have come after him. This is why he's on house arrest, effectively stuck in Spain, and he cannot go anywhere. Although he is on one of the nicest places. If I was going to want to be on house arrest, I would want to be on the island of Majorcas as well, off the coast of Spain too. But he can't go anywhere. He's stuck. So not the best scenario when you can't really, you're not free to move. But it is beautiful.
Got to pick your battles, right?
So
Obviously, he didn't pick this battle; they picked it for him.
they did, and they nabbed him where a friend of his was also nabbed a couple years ago and ended up unalived. They were friends, right? Yeah, they were
Yeah.
were pretty close actually.
They were.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Bitcoin Cash and Roger Ver, and guess who was a proponent of Bitcoin Cash and transactions of the like.
Oh man. Who?
John McAfee, man. John
Oh
McAfee.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was a big advocate of Bitcoin Cash specifically,
He
but
was.
he would, but he was definitely an advocate for the freedom of the utility that an asset like Bitcoin Cash can give you. So, I mean, it would make more sense that he was more pro Bitcoin Cash like Roger is in comparison to Bitcoin Core and for what it's
Kim.com.
Kim.com. Yep. Yep. Another name. Is he still in prison?
No, he's having a
Didn't it-
medical. He's had a medical issue. And he's trying to work through it. He had a stroke.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Did they nab him? I might be thinking
They,
of.
they,
I'm
they,
thinking
they
of
were they were
CZ.
trying to take him out. Yeah, like
Yeah.
to bring him to the United States, extradition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, that's kind of sad. He's not that old
No,
to have a stroke.
yeah. Well, he
Man.
did have some serious head weight issues.
Mm. I mean, the stresses of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, we all suffer in our own ways, and a lot of times when you have medical episodes like that, it could be more internal.
Yeah.
That ends up erupting into a physiological episode. So, I mean, that's wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Kim.com and ended up having a stroke. Oh, that's unreal. So, who else is in prison that should be let out? Did CZ finally get released?
I
I thought I
believe
read something.
yeah. They released TZ.
Yeah,
He's
about time. I mean, he finished his term. That's why.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that he was in prison to begin with is a joke. I mean, it's
Yeah.
political
Well,
persecution.
it is. It's warfare and lawfare, I should
It's
say.
lawfare. Yeah,
Just like
lawfare.
they're doing with Roger.
I mean, Ian Freeman. He just had his case. The judge is pretty much like uh it didn't go well for him. Let's just put it that way. Like a couple months ago, didn't. Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
it's
it
a work
really.
in progress. It's all a work in progress, you know.
Well, this is the war on crypto really truly peaked, ironically enough, and we mentioned him on the last episode, on yesterday's episode, or 2 days ago, depends on when you watched, um, about Joe Biden. But the war on crypto truly did peak under the Biden administration the last 4 years. And it seems as if under the Trump administration, there are some positives. And there are, for good measure, there are some positives. But at the same time, there's really not. I mean, it's kind
It's
of like a catch-22. Like, well, you get a little bit of taste of one good thing, but then they build up the measure of taking others out, and in
they're
some
real.
capacity.
They're just easing the grip a little bit on the population. But once Trump's out of office, they're going to try to reapply the pressure.
And that's basically what why Trump is here. I mean, he's here to relinquish a little bit of pressure, but set up the precedent for them to go even harder by the time he's out. And that's just inevitable. That's just how presidencies work. It's all based on precedent. You do things your way while at the same time setting up the political levers to where your successor next time can utilize the powers that you've given them.
Yeah.
And
And
I
then
mean, one
somebody
thing,
retaliates the next presidency, and they just give more power to the next guy. It doesn't matter what side you're on.
Mhm.
They're all about consolidating power.
Well, there's a reason why Donald Trump is probably the first president. How many? I mean, God, he's signed so many executive orders. I don't even think you can count them anymore. But he's the first president to go overboard. And there's been some good things, but most of it is just consolidation of power, and it's setting a precedent, because what happens, whoever is president and who's elected in 2028 starts and is inaugurated in January 2029. I mean, they're going to have so much that they can do. First off, they're going to want to do anything that is against what Trump did. They're going to use to take those out, and then they're going to have the power to just continue to pretty much be a king, a true executor. And Joe Biden signed Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the last 8 years, or going into, it'll be 8 years after Trump is finished. But within these latest terms, we're only 5 months, almost 6 into Trump's second term. You had Joe Biden for the last 4 years, and both of them combined the most executive orders ever signed by a president in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why Donald Trump is fulfilling that niche, and whoever's the president next is going to go a little bit harder. And if it's a Democrat, they're going to go against whatever they disagree on Trump. And so fingers crossed on the crypto situation, because there are a lot of good things. He has lifted the rope around the necks of cryptocurrency a little bit, but
he's also put it
I
on the
don't know.
main stage as you know, a legitimate tool in the eyes of the state. Is something they can use for scapegoating. Which the more the pressure is, the more cracking, you know, the less power they have, because they have to go through more and more extreme options.
The rise of stable coins, and specifically Tether as your CBDC.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Day talks about that. They already have it in place. And the fact of the matter is like the CBDC is the stable coin apparatus. I'm sorry. As long as if they can attach some correspondence to the dollar and use Tether as that mechanism, there's your central bank digital currency.
For right
Fucking
now.
stable coins, dude. It's all set in place. So the war on crypto has been delayed to a certain extent as they try to figure out a means for the state to utilize stablecoin apparatus and crypto in itself to have some sort of regulatory control by the state. So that's the scary aspect. So, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, everyone. There's an old man behind me. What the fuck? He's
Hey,
gone.
man, where's the door to get out of here?
He ran really, really quick.
It's
Probably
it's
because
right
I
over
actually
there.
turned.
Right over where?
Why is he in my house now?
Ooga booga.
Did you give him my address? I bet you did.
He said you want to go partying with you. He said he'd be making mine like Donald Trump.
Well, I
That's
got to
not
go
bad.
deal with this old freak. Trying to get him out of my house. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And Andrew, why don't you take it off and send us all out, because I got to go do. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, he's off there. I'm gonna go ahead and start mining Terry. So I'll see you all later. Have a good one.
I'm going to have to leave now, but I was sure I came in by that door over there. Hey, man, where's the door to get out of here?
Oh, it's right over there, sir.
Right over where?
The exit sign? Exit sign? It's that door right there.
That red sign?
Yeah, just go right that way.
Okay.
I think it went down the wrong door.
Where am I? Hey, what the fuck's wrong with you? That's not the right door.
Sir, you're gonna want to go to the one with the exit. You went to the door to the side there.
I went to the right doors of where you pointed me to, you fuck.
I pointed you to the exit.
Man, you're fucking with the wrong guy.
I'm sorry.
You see this bulge on my hip? You know what that is?
That's a gun.
That's a Glock. You're fucking with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Don't ever send me